And we are live.
वी आर लाइव। और अरे यार, पहले तो आई एम तो देर एज यूजुअल परमेश्वर इंटर फैन, पर अपने साथ आ भी गए योगेश वापस बहुत टाइम के बाद, एकदम प्रोफेशनल गेटअप में। ही इज गॉन देयर टू क्लोज डील्स विद एलेसैंड्रो बुंजोर्नो ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ डे लॉरेंटिस एंड कॉन्टे। कैसा है यार योगेश?
मैं बढ़िया हूँ यार। गोइंग गुड। ऑफिस ट्रिप के लिए थोड़ा बाहर आया हूँ, आउट ऑफ मुंबई नाउ।
हाँ।
इटली को डीपली फॉलो तो कर ही रहा है यार, फ्रॉम एनीवेयर इन, वी ऑलवेज फॉलो इटली। काफी सही था लास्ट मैच। मैं वॉच लॉन्ग के लिए आ नहीं पाया था, बट
हाँ
एज एवरीवन नोज द कैनी मूवमेंट वाज द बेस्ट मूवमेंट सो फार ऑफ द यूरोज।
या मतलब अलग ही वो, मैं तेरे को अभी बोल रहा था स्ट्रीम के पहले, वॉच अलोंग पे हमारा रिया वॉच अलोंग चल रहा था और उसपे मैं पहले रिएक्ट किया एंड द अदर टू चिंतन एंड मितुल भाई थॉट आई वाज ट्रोलिंग देम। पर यार वो तो वो है, पहले थोड़े कमेंट्स ले लेते हैं। दीपू इज ऑलरेडी इन द चैट, नाइस टू हैव यू दीपू। ही सेज हेलो हाउडी। वो बेल्जियम फैन है एंड हिज फेवरेट बेल्जियम हैज बीन ड्रॉन अगेंस्ट द टीम आई सपोर्ट फ्रांस। योगेश तो मस्त इसको ट्रोल करना पड़ेगा अगर हम लोग जीते तो। बट ऑल जोक्स असाइड, डीलो, मंचीनी, बास्टोनी, डार्मियन, बैकलाइन, Cambiaso could take over Darmian, Fagioli expected over Jorginho alongside Cristante and Barella, एल शरावी, जकानी, बैलेट। हाँ, स्काई स्पोर्ट का ना, हाँ वही बहुत सारी न्यूज आ रही है स्काई स्पोर्ट से, उस पे आ जाएंगे। 4 people विद दिस, वील गेट टू द थिक ऑफ ऑल दिस दीपो, एकदम से नहीं, पहले थोड़ा जस्ट लाइव स्ट्रीम चालू किया ना, तो थोड़ा लेट पीपल कम इन। वील गेट टू दिस फॉर श्योर। योगेश इस कमेंट पे वापस आ जाएंगे, वी डोंट वांट टू वरी। हाँ, मुराट याकिन का मैं देखा कोड, उस पे भी आ जाता हूँ दीपू, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन, जस्ट द स्ट्रीम हैज जस्ट बिगन, सो लेट्स गेट टू इट इन अ बिट। थॉट्स, हाँ definitely Deepo, I'll get to your thoughts, just hold on for a bit. As I said, the stream has just begun. Rahul Singh says hi. Hi to you yaar, nice to have you back on the stream. मैं हूँ, योगेश है, एंड आई थिंक मोर पीपल आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू ज्वाइन। मित्तुल, अजय भाई, सब लोग ने बोला तो है ज्वाइन करेंगे। चिंतन भाई को थोड़ा लेट होगा, डीजे भाई को भी, सो लेट्स सी हु जॉइंस इवेंचुअली। पर योगेश, तेरी इनिशियल फीलिंग क्या है मतलब इस ड्रॉ के साथ? और आप भी कमेंट्स में बताओ, व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट द अजूरी ड्रॉइंग स्विट्जरलैंड, वेरी ब्रीफली, बिकॉज उसमें हम लोग डीप, एकदम डीप में ब्रेक डाउन तो करेंगे। क्या थॉट्स है तेरे?
यार थॉट्स तो मेरे पहले तो ये है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थ्रू गए, दैट वाज द बिगेस्ट थिंग। या
हम्म
फिर अगर थर्ड फिनिश करते थे तो थ्रू भी नहीं जाने वाली थी इटली, एंड एटलीस्ट थ्रू चले गए बिकॉज थर्ड प्लेस क्रोएशिया थर्ड फिनिश की है, देयर पॉइंट्स वर लेस, तो
हम्म।
दे आर नॉकड आउट नाउ। लाइक थर्ड ग्रुप्स में से भी वो लोग क्वालिफाई नहीं हो पाए हैं, तो
करेक्ट
क्रोएशिया
करेक्ट
वेंट, दैट कुड वेरी इजीली हैव बीन द फेट ऑफ इटली। तो
हाँ हाँ।
फर्स्ट, वेरी लकी दैट वी आर गोइंग थ्रू। सेकेंड, इट्स अ फेयर ड्रॉ यार, लाइक स्विट्जरलैंड मिली, इट्स नॉट लाइक कि फ्रांस ही मिल गई है पहले ड्रॉ में, और तो इट इज क्वाइट फेयर। स्विट्जरलैंड आर, they are a very good team. It's not a like we are given to go through, but
या
Switzerland is a very competitive team. Certain Shaqiri है उनके पास में, like Shaqiri जब भी
हम्म
मैंने देखा है स्विट्जरलैंड के लिए, he plays at the top of his game. So
हम्म
it's going to be a very interesting draw, and I hope this is not the final match of Azzurri uh,
हम्म
at this Euros.
हम्म। हाँ यार, मुझे भी थोड़ी ऑब्वियसली वो फीलिंग लग रही है। मित्तुल से हाय, मित्तुल तो आई थिंक पैनल पे ज्वाइन करने वाला है। मित्तुल आ जा, फ्री है तो। इधर चाहो बोल रहे साले, पैनल पे भी आ ही जा रहा है तो। योगेश इन सूट टुडे, या ही इज गोन टू क्लोज द डील फॉर बुंजोर्नो। मैं बोला ना तुझे, he is not in any other city in India. He's in Turin to talk to Torino officials and get the deal closed. स्विट्जरलैंड इज अनबीटन दिस ईयर। हाँ मतलब दे आर, द थिंग इज, मैंने उनको इतना रेट नहीं किया था, देयर वाज अ गुड रीजन बिहाइंड इट राहुल, बिकॉज देयर अटैक वाज नॉट रियली कनेक्टिंग एंड देयर फुटबॉल इन जनरल वाज नॉट एडवेंचरस इनफ फॉर द क्वालिटी दे हैड, यू गेट व्हाट आई मीन। एंड वही चीज हुई, मुराट याकिन और उसके टीम ने अपना एक्सपीरियंस इवेंचुअली दिखा दिया है। And that makes a difference when you have those veterans. Obviously, at the end of the day, it makes a difference. So हाँ, so good point over there. We'll get to the discussion. Deepu says professional look for Yogesh. पर आ जाते हैं यार, योगेश स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं, रेस्ट विल जॉइन अस। मित्तुल इज कमिंग, ही सेड 5 मिनट में। अजय भाई विल जॉइन इन अराउंड 20 मिनट्स, सो लेट्स वेट, विल बिगिन। 20-20 मिनट तो रुक नहीं सकते सबके लिए, सो चालू कर लेते हैं। मैं दो तीन चीजें पुल अप करता हूं, तब तक तो कमेंट्स ले ले यार।
Yeah, sure.
योगेश,
Deepu
जस्ट
says that Vargas to dunk on Man City.
साले, एक तो इसका वारगास ना, मैं इसको जानता हुआ योगेश, साला पूरा टाइम मेरे को वारगास वारगास करता ही है, ठीक है दीपू। और पूरे टूर्नामेंट में साला कुछ किया नहीं है वारगास अभी तक. इज डन डिसेंट बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ गोल असिस्ट कुछ किया नहीं है. तो देखते हैं दीपू दीपू किस पे डंक करता है. होपफुली वारगास डजंट डंक ऑन मंचीरी. ये शेयर कर ले यार योगेश, इफ यू कैन.
Yeah,
तो
yeah,
पहले तो
let's.
यार थोड़ी टीम न्यूज, पहले अजूरी की टीम न्यूज पे आते हैं. स्विट्जरलैंड थोड़ा बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. बास्टोनी का आज थोड़ा ट्रेनिंग सेशन में इशू था इन द सेंस कि उसको फीवर था योगेश. मतलब ये बास्टोनी का कॉमन ट्रेंड है एक्चुअली ना. हम लोग इंटर में बार बार फैंस में डिस्कशन चलते साला हर 2 महीने में 3 महीने में इसको फीवर होते रहता है. ठीक है. और इसकी इम्यून सिस्टम पता नहीं क्या है, बट suddenly this year he didn't have it and now before the game he has it. But on the positive side उसने इंडिविजुअल ट्रेनिंग जिम में की, बट एंड में ग्रुप ट्रेनिंग उसने पूरी की थी. ठीक है, टीम के साथ. सो आइडियली फिट होना चाहिए फॉर द गेम. ठीक है, पर तू तू बता यार, ये बाकी न्यूज पे भी आते हैं. मैं तेरे को टीम न्यूज पे और पूछता हूँ. ये देख, ये एक और न्यूज है फॉर एवरीवन. द येलो कार्ड अक्यूमुलेशन रूल बेसिकली इज ऑब्वियसली इन प्लेस. कालाफ्यूरी जैसे हम सब जानते हैं सस्पेंडेड फॉर द गेम अगेंस्ट स्विट्जरलैंड. We'll look at the Switzerland team news later. Calafiori नहीं होने वाला है. 4 players who are cautioned, who are 1 yellow card away from suspension. जैसे आप देख सकते हो, डोनारुमा, फाजियोली, पेलेग्रिनी, क्रिस्टांटे, ये सब. ठीक है, इनमें से कोई भी बुक हो जाए मिसेस द नेक्स्ट राउंड. और जो येलो कार्ड्स रीसेट होते हैं प्रीटी मच सेमीफाइनल के अराउंड. सो क्वार्टर फाइनल में अप्लाई होता है ये सब योगेश. तो ये अर्ली टीम न्यूज है अजूरी की. ऑब्वियसली अभी थोड़ा डिस्कस करते हैं इस टीम स्पिरिट योगेश. आता हूं मैं इस पे, क्योंकि अब तक हम जो देख रहे हैं ना योगेश, द परफॉर्मेंसेस हैव नॉट बीन दैट ग्रेट. हम लोग बार बार बोलते हैं इटली साइड इज इन अ ट्रांजिशन, राइट?
Yeah.
बट जैसे बुंजोर्नो ने बोला है, ऑब्वियसली यू विल बी हैप्पी विद हिज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बिकॉज ही कुड बी अ फ्यूचर नापोली प्लेयर. बट वो बोल रहे हैं देयर इज द अवेयरनेस ऑफ अस बीइंग अ टीम दैट डज नॉट गिव अप, बट वी नो दैट इट विल नॉट बी इजी विद अगेंस्ट स्विट्जरलैंड, बट वी विल गिव आवर ऑल. एंड यू नो इफ स्पालेटी कॉल्स मी अप ऑलरेडी. और ये चीज बराबर है ना, ये सब इधर लगता है बोलने के लिए, ही सेज वी विल गिव आवर ऑल, बट सो फार दैट इज व्हाट हैज हैपेंड ना. मतलब इट्स ऑल अबाउट द टीम स्पिरिट एंड इट्स ऑल अबाउट द वर्क एथिक दैट हैज प्रीटी मच कैरीड देम. क्या लगता है तुझे? हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट इज इट फॉर दीज गाइज टू जस्ट show up at least with the right mentality and the right, क्या बोलते हैं वो, notion on the pitch, the right attitude on the pitch?
या डेफिनेटली यार, लाइक बास्टोनी के पॉइंट पे मैं बोलना चाहूँगा कि लाइक
हाँ.
मिसिंग अ वेरी क्रूशियल गेम के पहले मिसिंग ट्रेनिंग सेशंस, इट्स नॉट अ वेरी गुड साइन, बट होपफुली इट्स अ माइनर थिंग एंड ही कैन कम बैक. बोर्जोनो के ये कमेंट पे डेफिनेटली लाइक कमेंट्स उसने अच्छे किए. आई होप हिज हेड इज इन द प्रॉपर प्लेस व्हेन द मैच कम्स, एंड उसका फर्स्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ कॉल अप होगा फॉर दिस यूरोज. सो इट कुड बी लाइक थोड़ा प्रेशर उसके ऊपर आ सकता है. एंड आई होप कि कोई जैसे डीमार्को का जो मिस्टेक हुआ था एट दी इन द फर्स्ट मिनट ऑफ द यूरोज, वैसा कोई मिस्टेक वगैरह कॉस्ट ना हो
Yeah,
जाए, लाइक व्हेन बुर्जोनो
yeah,
स्टार्ट्स विद ऑल दैट प्रेशर एंड ऑल. So
yeah.
I'm just hoping कि this team finally gels together. Like एक point तो I'll give them these guys that they at least did not give up in their efforts point
Hmm.
of view. Like they give their
Hmm.
all in that last match against Croatia. So that was a
Hmm.
good sign to see. But
Yes.
the game that is coming out of this team, that can be much better. Like it's leaving a lot to be desired
हाँ,
still.
हाँ, आई एग्री विथ यू. थोड़े कमेंट्स ले लेते हैं यार. बाय द वे 8 लोग हैं स्ट्रीम में. थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस. प्लीज लीव योर कमेंट्स यार. डोंट शाई अवे फ्रॉम योर लेटिंग अस नो योर थॉट्स. और लेते रहेंगे. 9 लोग हैं अभी. एंड दीपू, तूने जो क्वेश्चंस डाले, वी विल गेट टू दीज एज वी मूव ऑन टू द डिस्कशन. पहले तो वो पूछ रहा है योगेश, डू यू सी एनी टीम डूइंग अ ग्रीस इन दीज यूरोज? पर्सनली मैं बोलूं, I can mainly see Austria, but I won't say Austria as a Greece because जब Greece खेल रही थी ना दीपू, nobody really expected them to win the whole thing. मतलब they were not even as, let's say, qualitatively good enough as Austria is जो present day में. समझ रहा है मतलब मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Greece was knowing for shit housing those wins, playing their style was not appreciated much, which actually I used to like their style back in the day when they won those Euros, but majority of the people didn't like that. आई वुड से ऑस्ट्रिया कैन डेफिनेटली पुल समथिंग ऑफ. जैसे कि आप उनको ड्रॉ के उस साइड पे भी देखो, दे आर प्लेइंग वेरी वेल. सो शायद ऑस्ट्रिया कुछ कर दे, आई फील. ऑब्वियसली इटली के साइड पे योगेश. सो बट मैजिक तिवारी इज हियर. he says hi, nice to have you. Arnab Mukherjee is here. He says do you see Romania smashing Netherlands? I don't know about smashing, but मैं ये एक बोलूंगा कि do not count Romania out. मतलब I expect them to at least put up a good fight against Netherlands. And actually I made a bold prediction कि they will knock the Netherlands out. I could be wrong, obviously predictions होते हैं, you can be wrong at any point, but योगेश मेरा prediction है कि मुझे लग रहा है जैसे ये Netherlands खेल रहे हो, जो स्पिरिट के साथ रोमेनिया आई है, मुझे लग रहा है इट्स नॉट अ फार फेच पॉसिबिलिटी कि दे नॉक द Netherlands आउट.
अच्छा,
यू
ये
नो
राडू ड्रैगुसिन रोमानिया का ही है ना?
हाँ हाँ और
Yeah.
they are playing a very good game in general. So let's see. Switzerland can do a Greece. Magic Tiwari says. Funnily enough, Magic Tiwari ना मैं आज वही start पढ़ रहा था. I'll pull it up later. Switzerland have never gone past the quarterfinals of the Euros, Yogesh. So so you never know. Rahul Singh says Switzerland's backline of Akanji share. It's a good test. हाँ, I agree with you. रिकार्डो रॉड्रिगेज भूलो मत, तो अच्छा खेलता है स्विट्जरलैंड के लिए. सो आई नो. सो थोड़ा आगे बढ़ते हैं यार योगेश, थोड़ा और इटली न्यूज पे. दीपू, वी विल कम टू योर सेक्शन विच यू आस्क्ड. ये कल की थोड़ी ट्रेनिंग न्यूज है, मतलब उन्होंने अलग अलग चीजें ट्राई की. ये बहुत थोड़ी पुरानी न्यूज है बिकॉज विल गेट टू दीपू. इनिशियली ट्रेनिंग न्यूज से आ रहा था कि बुंजोर्नो इज सर्टेन टू स्टार्ट 3-5-2 3-4-2-1 में, बट अभी वैसा लग नहीं रहा है. जैसे मैं बोला उस पर आएंगे. पर योगेश एकदम ब्रीफली मैं तेरे से पूछता हूँ, ठीक है? जस्ट एकदम ब्रीफली इसका जवाब दे. लुक एट वेयर वी आर टुडे, राइट, विद द अज़ूरी, बराबर. मतलब प्रीटी मच फॉर मी द मैन ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट फॉर द अज़ूरी इज डोनारुमा. काला फ्यूरी इज देयर, बट मेरे हिसाब से डोनारुमा इतने सब सेव्स करेगा नहीं तो अज़ूरी इधर तक पहुंचेगी नहीं. मतलब तुझे, बिकॉज तुझे याद है हम लोग
Definitely.
डिस्कस कर रहे थे इसको बिठाना चाहिए यूरोस के पहले. वी वर ऑल ऑन द ऑन बोर्ड प्रीटी मच.
Vicario,
एंड
Vicario.
विकारियो, और हमारा रीजन था चलो बिकॉज वी नो डोनारुमा थोड़ा ये होता है. बट वो अज़ूरी के लिए, जैसे अजय भाई बार बार बोलते थे ना, ही ऑलवेज टर्न्स अप, राइट. एंड
Hmm.
इधर मैट्रिक्स देख, नंबर्स देख एक तो, एंड ही ऑलवेज डज टर्न अप. जस्ट अ क्विक वर्ड ऑन हिम और फ्रॉम यू, लाइक वो अबाउट हिज परफॉर्मेंसेस.
First of all, hi Mitul.
Hello guys.
हाय
Wow, yaar,
मितुल, नाइस.
Yogesh, all suited up. Heard you are going to Turin.
Yes, yes, बुनजोनो को फाइनलाइज करना था, कुछ करना पड़ेगा मुझे भी.
Yes,
हाँ,
yes.
बिल्कुल अपनी आर्मी को बुला ले भाई, अवेंजर्स
Yes.
असेंबल. बट
Yeah.
योगेश तेरे थॉट्स बता यार.
Yeah, Donnarumma definitely, like for me also, he has been the man of the tournament so far for Italy. बहुत सारे saves निकाला Donnarumma ने. Like I did
हाँ
not expect कि Italy, like defense Italy का फिर भी it's not bad, it's quite good यार. Like the players that
हाँ
we
हाँ
have, it's quite
हाँ
good. And in spite of that, against teams like even Albania and Croatia के Spain तो चलो ठीक है, समझ में आता है. They completely dominated us in that game. But we still lost only 1-0 because of Donnarumma. Otherwise, it could
हाँ.
have been a thrashing like 4, 5, or even six
Yeah.
goals. Just because of Donnarumma, we were saved from that sort of a disgraceful performance that was there on that
Yes,
day.
yes,
So definitely,
yes.
and एक concern फिर यहाँ पे वो भी आता है कि Donnarumma has a yellow card already, and if he gets a yellow card, viruses, that's also
Yeah,
a big concern. But definitely,
yeah.
yeah, Donnarumma has to be on his A game so that Italy goes far in this tournament.
आई एग्री विथ यू. मैं मित्तुल पे आता हूँ यार, बिकॉज डोनारुमा तो डिस्कस कर लेंगे. यू आई कम टू द प्रेडिक्टेड लाइनअप्स लेटर. थोड़ा ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा जकानी पे आता हूँ बिकॉज जकानी मोमेंट पे तो बहुत बातें चल रही है. ऑब्वियसली he's been talking about how Del Piero is
Yeah.
his idol and everything, and he met him and he gave him a call. I think I'll just simply ask Mitul, how important is this moment for Zakani? Because before the Euros, pretty much the whole Azzurri fan base, be it global or local, was against his call up, barring the Lazio
Yeah.
fans obviously. And वो लोग बोल रहे थे यार ये क्या करेगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकता ज्यादा. And people were like also Lini होना चाहिए, rightly so, again not wrong reasons. But
Yeah.
Zakani, despite all that, has he pulled out a goal. जैसे हम watch along पे हमारा जो reaction था, summed it up was जैसे गोलाज़ो बोलते हैं यार, मतलब it was fantastic. So how important is it for him तेरे लिए यार मितुल की, he's getting this reassurance from all those around him like Del Piero, like Buffon. क्या लगता है तुझे?
Yeah, like पहले तो यार sorry बोलना चाहूँगा because
क्या
the
हुआ?
amount of trollness we gave him, right?
हाँ
Trolling
हाँ
कि यार why he's been selected. I used to troll him throughout, or
हाँ.
he came from bench and scored a worldie. And that goal actually, if he would have not scored, we would have not been here now.
Yeah.
Because after that, the whole third place panned out. We would have been narrowly missing on it. So I think that goal was very crucial. And yeah, I think it's a big boost for him, for his moral, because he has not been very convincing for Lazio as well. He started well, but then again, he faded off after his transfer to loan, or
Hmm.
transfer to Lazio. He has
Hmm.
been, abysmal for them. But I think it's a good thing for the Italy as well. कि आप अगर देखोगे on a larger scale, कि some players just turning up from out of
हाँ
nowhere. That has
हाँ.
been the story of 2022, 2020 Euros as well. Because
Hmm.
Locatelli scored 2 goals, then there was Chiesa. Like a bunch of goals were divided between a lot of
Hmm.
players. So I think this is something that a pattern should be followed here as well in Italy.
Hmm.
So I'm very happy ki Zaccagni got that goal, not just
Hmm.
because of the trolling, of course.
Hmm.
He shushed all the people. It's a redemption arc for him, but also
Hmm.
good for him because he might be coming up from bench against
Hmm.
Switzerland.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
who knows now, right? He's one of the preference in subs now, right? So I think that could be a good thing for him as well, for the team as well. And now he's even getting acknowledgement by big players.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's good for him, good for the team. It
I
also
agree.
refreshes the mood. Yeah.
हाँ डेफिनेटली मतलब इटली when many things don't work out for Italy, एक चीज that has to work out is the जैसे मैं और योगेश डिस्कस कर रहे थे द ग्रुप स्ट्रेंथ द सेल्फ बिलीफ ये वो थोड़े कमेंट्स ले लेते हैं देन विल मूव थोड़ा आगे. दीपो एज आई सेड वील कम टू योर क्वेश्चंस जस्ट व्हेन वी डिस्कस द प्रेडिक्टेड लाइनअप्स एंड एवरीथिंग. उस सेक्शन पे तेरा तूने जो भी पहले बोला था मैंने मार्क करके रखा है तो उस पे आएंगे. स्विट्जरलैंड कैन डू अ ग्रीस साइड मैजिक तिवारी. राहुल सिंह से स्विट्जरलैंड हाँ ये तो ले लिया था सॉरी. जर्मनी ऑस्ट्रिया फाइनल लाइक पर मैच. हाँ
एक
बोल
बहुत
योगेश.
अच्छा कमेंट आया परम लाइक वी हैव गैरेथ साउथगेट ऑल द वे
Yeah,
फ्रॉम
हाँ
yeah.
आ रहा हूँ आ रहा हूँ उस पे. जर्मनी ऑस्ट्रिया फाइनल लाइक पर मैच प्रेडिक्टेड. हाँ मुझे लग रहा है हो सकता है वो. मैजिक तिवारी आई वाज द वन हु सेड माय बेंच माय हु सेड बेंच माय बॉय डोनारुमा अब्यूज मी गाइस. राहुल सिंह सेज डोनारुमा इज ब्रिलियंट. इससे ज्यादा नहीं बोलूंगा एज अ मिलान फैन. दीपू सेज मित्तुल भाई ऑब्वियसली ही इज अ बिग फैन ऑफ मित्तुल. गैरेथ साउथगेट भी आ गया. स्टीम मैच आ गए मतलब कौन से हेड कोच अभी आना बाकी है. आई एम लूजिंग ट्रैक. स्टीम मैच आ गया है ये वो सब. अभी साउथगेट भी आ गया हमारे चैट पे. I'm here to make right side of the group boring as. यार गैरेथ साउथगेट यार इटली के साथ मैच हो सकता है तो देखते हैं यार. लेट्स होप वो मैच हो जाए फिर मजे आएंगे. पीपल कॉल मी दक्षिण दरवाजा बट आई एम some
Nice.
trolls activity but nice to know. Obviously योगेश सबसे बड़ा टॉकिंग पॉइंट विल कम टू द टीम न्यूज़. जैसे वो सब तो बोला है बट वन ऑफ द
we have
बिगेस्ट टॉपिक.
Dhananjay bhai also here, so let's
Oh,
welcome
DJ Bhai is
him.
also here. Yeah, nice to have you, DJ Bhai. I'll get to him only actually, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
because obviously the first thing जो news we know is कि Calafiori is suspended for the game against Switzerland, and we can see his numbers. It's not just these plain numbers. We know he has exceptionally performed well so far. मतलब chance creation में भी है, passing accuracy, even the progressive passes, the aerial duels he's won. ये सब his numbers are pretty very high in terms of the average of for these Euros. So Dhananjay bhai, matlab we have not gotten into the team news yet, but how big of a miss is Calafiori for the game against Switzerland? Yeah, because it's a tricky side. Obviously, we know that, and then suddenly having to make such a big change. What are your thoughts on that?
Guys, this is now we're at the business end of the tournament. So again, if this Italy wants to go far, we can't really be relying on the Azzurri. Can't really be relying on individuals and personnel. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, it is a big miss, but I think they have players ready to kind of stand in place. My bet and prediction would perhaps be on Mancini. I think Spalletti will go with somebody a little bit more experienced in that role. Fully expecting Mancini to start. There's also a little bit of hearsay that he's also looking at Fagioli in the
हाँ
starting lineup,
हाँ
which I think is going to be very important given the midfield problems that Italy's been having. And
हाँ.
also, there's talk of El Charawe up front.
Yeah, there are news at least. Yeah, for now, correct. So yeah, I mean, ये अपना योगेश तेरे पे आता हूँ यार. मतलब एक तो हम
Mhm.
लोग काला फ्यूरी की बात कर ही रहे. He's one miss obviously, but then we look at someone like uh, you know him not being there. What are your initial thoughts कि who should be the one replacing him? Because DJ भाई ने जैसे बोला safe bet लग रहा है मंचीनी आ जाएगा. ठीक है, safe bet because of what we are hearing. I'll pull up the news in general. But do you
Mhm.
think Buongiorno has to be the one to take it up because of pura season he has played in a back three, right, for Torino, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
contributed largely to Torino actually having one of the best defenses across the top 5 leagues for the whole season, right? Or Torino, तू जानता है they finished 9th despite that having those numbers, pretty solid.
Mhm.
So तुझे लगता है कि it should be a backline of let's say Bastoni, Buongiorno और अपना डार्मियान या फिर मंचिनी को खिला के थोड़ा सिस्टम ट्विक करो. क्या लगता है तुझे?
यार मैं तो फर्स्ट थॉट मेरा तो इस पे यही था कि ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं आना चाहिए था स्पेलिटी को अभी तक, लाइक सो लेट इन द टूर्नामेंट
हाँ,
विद सो मच
fair enough.
प्रिपरेशन एंड ऑल. He should have this thing sorted early on. But it is not sorted, and we have different sort of news coming out from the training pitch that Southgate बोल रहा हूँ. The Southgate
Oh
commentator
my
was very
God.
distracting.
नहीं, बोल बोल.
कि बुनजोनो को पिक करना है या फिर मांचनी को पिक करना है, डार्मियन को किधर खिलाना है, ये सब
हाँ.
क्वेश्चन अभी आने ही नहीं चाहिए थे यार, पहले ही सॉर्टेड रहने चाहिए थे ये सारी चीजें. बट आ रही है एनीवेज. कैलाफियोरी तो सॉर्ट ऑफ पोस्टर बॉय रहा है इटली का अभी तक. लाइक सब जगह आप देखोगे कैलाफियोरी ट्रेंड हो रहा है ऑन ऑल मीम्स एंड व्हाट नॉट, लाइक कार्टून्स एंड ऑल. So he's going to be a big miss for us definitely. But let's see. I think Mancini has done something in training which has convinced
हम्म.
Spalletti. So even I
हम्म.
think that Mancini will be starting.
हाँ हाँ. फेयर इनफ. आपके कमेंट्स लेते रहेंगे यार. विल जस्ट गेट टू दिस वन लास्ट थिंग. मित्तुल ये देख यार, फनीली इनफ हम मैं और योगेश स्ट्रीम के पहले यही डिस्कस कर रहे थे. अगर एक्चुअली जकानी गोल नहीं मारता तो इटली बाहर हो जाती प्रीटी मच.
Exactly.
बिकॉज बाकी हम लोग वही डिस्कस कर रहे थे डीजे भाई वॉच अलोंग में कि थर्ड प्लेस वाज नॉट रियली अफोर्डेबल फॉर दिस इटली साइड. You know, even if they lost that day, because the other teams were pretty close by, even on terms of goal difference. ये वो. And from the outside, it always felt like, you know, Portugal will beat Georgia and all that stuff. But we saw what happened, and then Hungary missed out, you know, luckily for Italy. तो बच गए मित्तुल, बहुत बहुत
Yeah,
close
yeah.
margin. We
Like
didn't.
on that day, you know, we were still
हाँ
optimistic कि यार चलो, even with 3 points we are going through, but we were not ready
हाँ
for the, you know, results to be panning out like that, because some games
हाँ.
were like, you know, just nuts. Like the Belgium group, all of them, you know, like finished 4. So who would have
Hmm.
thought about that, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, few
exactly,
things. Yeah,
exactly.
even
All four.
Austria group, you know, who would have
Yeah.
thought कि Austria would be topping, in, you know, in a group where France is Netherlands are there. So yeah, we
Yeah.
luckily, you know, scored that.
Yeah, and just a reminder कि Zakani goal को obviously acknowledgement मिली है. He got goal of the round as well. I mean, I guess important for his confidence, right, DJ? Bhai, what do you think? Because we were just discussing before you came in. Obviously, a player that was not wanted by many and in this squad, and he's now getting all the plaudits from Del Piero, from everyone, and now he even gets a, you know, individual accolade to himself. क्या लगता है आपको? मतलब generally you think he can now step up going forward in these Euros?
Of course, Param, a goal is not only good for his confidence. I think that it
Yeah.
further creates a squad integration. So if he was
Hmm.
feeling left out, I mean, this is a great way to kind of come and be part of the collective. So
Hmm.
definitely, I think it's done his confidence a world of good. I think also what it's kind of recreated is reestablished hierarchy in Spalletti's mind. Zakani may now be his go-to guy from the
Hmm.
bench. Whoever he starts with, his first sub will perhaps always be Zakani, at least in the
Hmm.
upcoming game. Um, so I think
Hmm.
that's great for Zakani. I think it's good for the team. It's kind of given them. We were speaking the last time, when this happened. It's given them the right kind of momentum. In this game, it's kind of galvanized them. The group has kind of
Hmm.
come together. When you go through the group stages, just the way that Italy did, there's that little bit
Hmm.
of belief, that they were lacking earlier, that we can do this and we can kind of go deep. And
Hmm.
I'm hoping that that's what will come to the fore tomorrow night as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Fair enough. I'll just go through some comments और फिर इस predicted lineup पे आते हैं जो latest एकदम आ रही है training से. What Sky Italia obviously got through what they saw in Azzurri's training camp. किधर रुके थे हम लोग? Southgate वाला तो हाँ. Southgate can convert Messi into Adama Traore, says Deepu. Magic Tiwari says Southgate will play Messi as a right wing back. Ashwin Aditya says why is Spalletti hesitant to play 3-5-2 while Inter dominated Serie A with it, and most of his vital players are from Inter and they'll fit in the best. हाँ मतलब वही योगेश भाई ने जो बोला, इट मेक्स सेंस टू व्हाट ही सेड, राइट, कि योगेश वही बोल रहे हैं कि ये सब थोड़ा पहले आयरन आउट होना चाहिए था. एक्चुअली बिफोर द यूरोज ही वाज प्लेइंग अ 3 एट द बैक. ही हैड हिज सिस्टम लॉकडाउन एंड जस्ट बिफोर द यूरोज ही डिसाइडेड टू ट्वीक इट. वही सबको आई थिंक स्ट्रेंज लगा कि व्हाई इज Spalletti डूइंग ऑल दिस, given the success he's had of late. It was very confusing, and देख रहे हो आप, Italy is just scraping past all games. So hopefully he uses familiar tactics. On pitch formation हमेशा final नहीं होती. Obviously जो players role खेलते हैं वो matter करते हैं at the end of the day. So let's hope he pulls off a good game against Switzerland. He took your comment here, Ashwin. Snail says should Chiesa be starting for you in the next match? We will get to it. We have pulled up the lineup. Let's discuss it. Uh, Southgate says would you like to face me in quarter final? Mithul, तुझे England would you mind England? I mean, if you were to beat Switzerland by any means?
Yeah, 100%. Let's just get on with it because they have to know कि 4 साल पहले भी we were your, like king and will still be the king. So it would be fun. It would be fun for the banter and
रिवेंज
everything.
साउथगेट से आई टेक रिवेंज भाई, तुम लोग ने उस क्वालिफायर में ले लिया भाई रिवेंज दोबारा रखे। पर ये इस पे आते हैं यार, योगेश तेरे से स्टार्ट करता हूँ, आई नो तेरे को थोड़ा कम टाइम है राइट, सो तेरे से स्टार्ट करता हूँ। अभी जस्ट न्यूज आ रही है कि ही ट्राइड, दिस इज व्हाट ही ट्राइड इन ट्रेनिंग, यू नो, डोना, डी लोरेंजो, मंचिनी, बास्टोनी, डार्मियन, क्रिस्टांटे, फाजियोली, बरेला, किएजा, स्कमाका, एल शरावी। एनी मतलब अगेन जस्ट बैक थ्री के, ठीक है, दिस कैन ट्रांजिशन इनटू अ बैक थ्री ऑन द पिच, ये वो, पर यार मतलब व्हाट आर यू मेकिंग ऑफ दिस? बिकॉज अगेन डी लोरेंजो इज बीइंग प्रोटेक्टेड आफ्टर हिज
Yeah,
एवरेज
yeah,
परफॉर्मेंसेस।
yeah,
मतलब
yeah.
ठीक है, मंचिनी जैसे डीजे भाई ने बोला थोड़ा एक्सपेक्टेड था, फाजियोली गुड टू सी इन देयर, आई होप ही स्टार्ट्स। पर बाकी तुझे क्या लग रहा है इस लाइनअप के बारे में?
यार इसमें तो दो मेजर चेंजेस दिख रहे हैं, लाइक डीमार्को को बेंच कर दिया, तो दैट आई एम
हाँ।
नॉट फाइन विद इट, लाइक आई एम अ थ्रू एंड थ्रू नापोली फैन, बट डीमार्को हैज बीन प्लेइंग गुड एंड डी लोरेंजो हैज is having a terrible Euros, so usko he sort of like, if he sees a time on bench, even as a Napoli fan, I don't mind that, but Di Lorenzo could be on the bench and we could have Darmian on the right and DiMarco starting. And El Shaarawy, I'm not very sure, yeah. Like start say, like it would be good to give him a cameo appearance, but from 0th minute, I don't think so. El Shaarawy would cut it.
वी हैव अजय भाई आल्सो, अजय भाई नाइस टू हैव यू। अजय भाई भी आ गए चैट पे, सॉरी स्ट्रीम
Ciao,
पे।
ciao,
मैं
ciao, ciao, everyone.
चाव अजय भाई, आप पे ही आता हूँ यार। मतलब वी, एक तो योगेश यार, आई थिंक डीमार्को इज नॉट फुली फिट बिकॉज वो स्पेन के अगेंस्ट भी ही प्लेड विद एन इंजरी, स्पलेटी फोर्स्ड हिम,
Oh.
बिकॉज अभी न्यूज वही आ रही कि उसकी जो काफ इंजरी थी ना वो फुली रिकवर नहीं हुआ, एंड स्पलेटी प्लेड हिम थ्रू दैट प्रीटी मच। तो अभी
Okay.
ही डिडंट ट्रेन विद द टीम, सो ऐसा लग रहा है वो मिस करेगा गेम। I don't know why against Spalletti. I don't know why he forced DiMarco through an injury if that's the case. But Ajay bhai, you look at this lineup. What are your early thoughts here? Because this is quite, मतलब फिर से we are heading looking at some major changes जैसे योगेश बोला, मतलब suddenly out of nowhere Sharawi starting, you know, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm fine with Fagioli playing, but what are your thoughts about the rest of this lineup?
I think let's not go by this because Spalletti has been surprising us,
Yeah, of
every
course.
time. And yeah, I mean, like, when we were discussing, Dhananjay mentioned that, Spalletti has got one eye on 2026. And this
Yeah,
looks like a lineup where he's experimenting with it. यार एक चीज बोलना चाहता हूँ कि Fagioli, तो of course he starts, given how bad our midfield has been. I think DiMarco got fever. Sorry, Bastoni got fever.
Yeah, but
DiMarco
he
is not
trained.
doing well.
हाँ.
So I don't know how the backline is going to shape up. But online, I've been reading a lot of flack about Cristante, Mancini, and El Shaarawy. बस इतना ही बोलना चाहता हूँ कि this core of Italian players have been through last 4 years of knockout games. So cup tournaments in Europe, they're very well versed with. So El Shaarawy का यार अब वही है कि I think he's going to alternate with Zaccagni. I think why Spalletti, like to answer Yogesh's question, why he's starting with El Shaarawy is because Zaccagni can come on late and bring that injection of pace that El Shaarawy doesn't have. So, so मेरे हिसाब से तो वही है. That's the reasoning why this probable lineup looks how it is. But I don't know if it's true. Like the last 3 games, अपन ने कितने सारे pull up किए from Corriere dello Sport to hundreds
Corriere,
of newspapers.
but this is only because of what Sky saw in training, so we can't even ignore it, right? So, but fair enough. I will obviously get the others' thoughts as well. पहले तो मैं आता हूँ DJ भाई पे यार, then I'll go to Mithul. Like if this were to be the lineup, DJ भाई, would you be fine with it? Because we know the Swiss are a tricky side who can, be very well balanced when needed, like they were against Germany, like they were against Hungary. Not so much against Scotland, but what do you make of this? Do you think this side, if fielded, has the capability to match the know-how of the Swiss team?
Param, tough to say. Again, like for me, it's not really the individuals. If I had to pick one, I'm not the pick. I'm not sure of is Cristante. I'm not even sure of Pellegrini starting ahead of him. That's one position that I'm a little like unsure about. I think the rest of the team looks fairly balanced, but it really comes down to how they come out and play off the blocks. The last 3 games, from what I've seen of Italy, is just confusion and fear. The team definitely has more potential than what we've seen, and we've seen it in glimpses. Transitions are beautiful and smooth. Barella picking that pass out of nothing was beautiful to watch. Yeah, they need a little bit of press, and I think once Fagioli is playing and sitting in front of the defense, it's going to give Barella a little bit more room to create transition. So I think for me, the biggest change being Fagioli, and I think that's where we're going to see a nice change of pivot in terms of how Italy hold the ball and move forward from the back. And I think given the front, Skamaka was going to always come back. I think we need his physical presence up front. Chiesa is going through a bit of an unpredictable journey, but I think he's somebody who will show up on the big night. El Shaarawy, again, to me, is a little bit of an unpredictable addition. As a starter, I see him as a better fit coming off the bench. You know, so that to me is a little jittery, but you never know how they kind of come together as a trident. You know, so if I had to pick out, I would say Cristante would be someone I'm not very sure of. I would like an alternative there. El Shaarawy, I don't know. Zakani kind of, on the back of the goal is all pumped. Maybe he should get the nod ahead.
Fair enough.
Those would be my two picks. And if anything, El Shaarawy perhaps coming off the bench if Zakani started.
Fair enough. Mithul, your thoughts? Because again, if this is to be the lineup again, ये तो obviously full and final ये सब कुछ नहीं होता. What do you make of this year? Because मतलब this will be another game in row where we are seeing lot of tweaks. और मुझे कभी-कभी ऐसा देख के लग रहा है कि Spalletti इस पॉइंट पे ओवरथिंक कर रहा है. Obviously, I'm no Spalletti. I don't know what is going on in his brain और ये वो. पर जैसे योगेश बोला यार, जस्ट एज अ आउटसाइडर यू एक्सपेक्ट कि एक टीम में एक लेवल का फेमिलियरिटी हो, मतलब इन व्हाट इज बीइंग पिक्ड. व्हाट डू यू मेक ऑफ दिस इफ दिस इज टू बी द 11?
I think I'm still not convinced by the lineup, because if you see the back line, I'm not sure Spalletti is going to make three changes out of the four, right? Like if I see Darmian coming in, Mancini coming in, so that is why I think he's put Di Lorenzo, right? He is not removing Di Lorenzo for that only, because we cannot expect कि सिर्फ बस्तोनी रहेगा, बाकी तीन new आ रहे हैं, because that would be too much changes in a very high tension game. So I think that is why he has kept with Di Lorenzo. And then we go in midfield. I'm very happy for Fagioli. Our boy is finally starting. But I think one thing that he lacks is, of course, pace, because he's going to play as a CDM right in front of the defense. So we have to get someone who can, get us the pace. So Chiesa is there, but then Cristante is again slow. So I'm not sure this team has that much pace to even, generate some counters, because Switzerland is a very pacey team. I've seen them play. They run on wings very good. They have a good physical and, pacey side. So I am a little, like on the left, if you see the left whole wing, I'm a little bit like skeptical about Cristante and El Shaarawy together. I'm not saying Cristante can be a good choice, but him alongside El Shaarawy can be a little bit of, risky thing, too much thought of. Because Cristante is very, physical. We all know that. And he used to go ahead with ball, but he can lose a lot of spaces behind. And El Shaarawy, I'm not sure. I think he should have at least got few minutes in group stage, ताकि उसको थोड़ा सा confidence आता. Directly starting him in a round of 16 game might just backfire. And so I think I would have gone with, even though he's not been very good so far in Euros, I would have still picked Pellegrini in this lineup, because I think he at least have the idea of playing in the Euros yet, instead of starting a completely new player who has not even got a single minute. So I think Pellegrini should have still, started. I'm seeing a lot of experimentation in this lineup, so I don't think so it's going to be true. But it's Sky Sport reporting from pitch, so you never know. But I think इतना ज़्यादा changes and tweaks he's not going to do. I think it's just 2 or 3 at max changes he's making. He's not going to change half of the team.
I think we'll move on from the lineups. मितुल और अजय भाई, अगर आप थोड़े comments ले सकते हो, I'll pull something else up तब तक. थोड़े comments आप ले लो. I'll just pull something up regarding what Buffon and all said. If you guys can just take some comments तब तक. One sec.
Yogesh, I think Yogesh has
Arun is here. He's pretty much obviously sad over. हाँ. Me and Yogesh both. I think Yogesh is gone. मतलब वो बोला था आधे घंटे.
Yeah.
So I think I'll only take the pull it up also in
Yeah,
chat.
you are
Just
taking
2
comments.
moments ले लेता हूँ. Uh, इधर रुके थे. Sorry, Bastonis, Bergomis, Regents, Ashwin, Deepu says Xhaka is playing so well for the Swiss. Italy must find a way. हाँ, वही स्विस का थोड़ा ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे, स्विट्जरलैंड का तब आता हूँ मैं उस पे. गुड पॉइंट. दिशांत कार्तिक सेज पेलेग्रिनी एज द लेफ्ट सेंटर मिड maybe. हाँ, कर सकते हो. जैसे मितुल ने बोला, टू हिज पॉइंट, इट इज important to consider Pellegrini maybe, you know, in that lineup. Ashwin Aditya says we are strong on the right hand side with Chiesa, need defenders, so need defensive stability on the right back position to play Darmian. हाँ यार, मतलब ये भी है. अच्छा पॉइंट है क्योंकि वो राइट साइड से थोड़ा बहुत अटैक्स आते हैं इटली के. Arun Krishnan is here. Obviously, he's sad about Croatia getting knocked out. He says Marda Italy. He's bitter, obviously. Dishant says, I think Zaniolo's injury was a concern to us. We could have played a 4-3-3 with him on the right and maybe shift Chiesa to the left. Same with Udoji. We could have had a you're absolutely right. मतलब Zaniolo polarizing player तो है, but एक अच्छा option दे देता है यार वो. And even with Udoji was in the form of his life. He was playing very well for Spurs and his injury was unfortunate last minute. Sommer sending you all home. Southgate says I still get nightmare of Bonucci's goal. Sommer will go home first, says Pavel. My prediction: Chiesa will chip Sommer to score the winner, says Magic Theory. Only hard team to beat before the final is Austria. भाई पहले स्विट्जरलैंड को हराओ, फिर ऑस्ट्रिया का देखो यार. मतलब तुम लोग स्विट्जरलैंड को ऐसे हारा, मतलब राइट ऑफ कर रहे हो जैसे है ही नहीं टूर्नामेंट में. ऐसा मतलब they pretty much went toe to toe with Germany as well. So Arun says Cristante being in the 11 will backfire. One own goal at least. We have
Now I'm sure Cristante is going to score. I'm sure.
boy from Durban. He's here. He's a regular on our channel. The day before round of 16 years. Yeah, definitely. So thode yaar, I'll just pull up something what Buffon said because he had quite interesting things to say before he moved to Switzerland and break them down thoda. I'll come to Ajay bhai because Ajay bhai को बहुत टाइम से लिया नहीं अभी तक. Ajay bhai, do you is this firstly visible? I guess because it should be right.
Yep.
मतलब अजय भाई, do you agree with Buffon so far? Because मैं योगेश को अभी यही बोल रहा था कि so far tactically ना, this side is yet to show us a convincing version, right? And that will only probably happen later down the line. But until then, do you agree कि it's all about determination and everything? Like, मतलब the enthusiasm with which they show up, the group that DJ Bhai keeps talking about, that it's a very strong group. Do you think this can take Italy further than what possibly they're expected to do in these Euros?
I think it's both a yes and a no. A yes in the sense that Buffon is trying to sort of kind of put that positivity spin around it. That's his job, and you've seen Italian sides in the past get that momentum from guys like Gianluca Vialli, who was there last time around, for the Euro 2020. So obviously he's pushing that wave of enthusiasm. Bits and parts, we've seen some wonderful gameplay from Italy. Apart from the Spain game, I think Italy were the better team. Probably the first half against Croatia. Albania के साथ में भी गोल खाने के बाद, I think they showed a bit of bright sparks. So it's there, no doubt. And Buffon being Buffon is obviously, he's got the experience, he's got the legendary status. He's pushing that confidence wave. So I mean, this side was probably expected to reach till the quarters. So if it's anything above the quarters, it's it's a success in my opinion.
Do you agree with Ajay bhai, DJ bhai? Like, do you agree कि anything beyond the quarters? Like, do you think this whole mentality, this whole group thing is good enough for only quarters and not beyond? Like, what do you think? DJ bhai?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
You're mute, Dhananjay.
Sorry, guys.
No worries.
I think that the group is definitely bigger than individuals, and like we discussed the last time also, all of Italy's success has always come when they've played as a collective unit. It's not been a team that's focused on the stars. So of course that kind of compactness, togetherness is something that can take them much further than expected. Also, let's keep in mind that we are finding this team really in the weaker half of the group. So it is a far more unpredictable, it's a more unpredictable side of the draw, and I think that's something that, yeah, Italy is aware of, England is aware of, Austria is aware of, Switzerland is aware of. So I think that is giving all of the teams a little bit of a spring in their step that, if we
Correct.
take our chances, we can kind of go far and deep. And I think that's where
Hmm.
the tiebreaker will really come in terms of which team and which collective is really together as a group. And
Hmm.
that's why I repeat again that the way Italy got out of the group has kind of given them that little momentum to believe in themselves, and and
हाँ.
say that we're a group that's together and we can overcome anything. And
Hmm.
I'm just kind of hoping that comes to the fore tomorrow, because obviously this particular team is a little short on individual talent, you know, and which is why you want to kind of see them kind of come together as a group
Hmm.
and deliver, which I think they're capable of. And you never know, yeah, they get past this, like Param, you said, we're all writing Switzerland off like they're nobodies. But they are giant killers at the end of the day. And the
Yeah.
last couple of years, we've seen them come to the party. So it's not going to be easy. They have a
Hmm.
couple of goals in them as well. The defense has to really hold together. But
Hmm.
if Italy gets through tomorrow, uh, you never say never, right? Like you're a quarter final
Yeah.
against. I'm not even sure England will make it necessarily. They're a strong
Yeah.
team, but
Yeah.
yeah, you never know. And once the quarterfinals, it's anybody's tournament, from that
Hmm.
point.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, I think they just have to focus on the teamwork, and they have to kind of focus on their system a little bit more, because that's where Spalletti needs to really impose it a little bit on the team in terms of movements
Hmm.
and patterns, which we're not seeing. It's too,
Yeah.
there's just fear and confusion, and I think that will be. But I'm very confident if Fagioli starts Barella with a little bit of freedom, I think we will see
Yeah.
a much more active and dynamic Italy.
Hmm. Fair enough. Before I come to Mitul here, again, obviously, lot of things are lost, especially Donnarumma के बारे में. Again, youngest goalkeeper in the history of the Euros. मतलब, I think it gets lost थोड़ा कि the age at which he started and everything and what records he's breaking. Obviously, we're talking about कि Calafiori is not going to be there, and obviously DJ भाई ने बराबर बोला. I agree with him कि obviously they have to step up without him. और obviously थोड़ा शायद miss भी हो जाए, because again these two were in the top 5 for balls recovered, for example, and many other metrics. Not just that, Barella तो important है, and I think that's where I agree with DJ भाई कि शायद फाजियोली के साथ उसको थोड़ा और freedom मिले, because Ajay भाई in the last game Costo pointed this out very rightly कि he was pretty much playing like a Brozovic role. थोड़ा ज़्यादा deep खेलना पड़ा उसे, and we didn't see like the most optimal game from him, going forward. So, but Mitul, I want to ask you one last thing before we close the Azzurri. Predicted lineup से ये सब तो देख लिया आप लोग ने. Uh, how much do you agree with this statement with El Sharawi? No team is happy to play against Italy. We want to go all the way, vote short. But like, are you convinced कि as long as this Italy just turns up with a half decent attitude also on the pitch and just tries to make it difficult anyhow, they're a pain to play against. क्या लगता है तुझे? Are you convinced by that? कि तुझे लगता
Uh,
है कि नहीं, मतलब there are certain teams this Italy side maybe is not ready for.
Historically, yes, like I do agree with this statement. We have always been a pain in the ass for every team who have played
हाँ.
Italy. They know the strength of us that, we can frustrate them so much because, the game playing in our half, all the clearance you're making, it's just a normal day for Italy. But for them, it's just shocked like we are taking 10 plus shots and still no goal. But I
Yeah.
think this new team is still a fragile. We have seen on multiple occasions that we are not able to keep a clean sheet for 90 minutes, right?
Mm,
Because the previous teams have kept clean sheet very easily, right?
mm,
Like it was one of the factors that always gave us the confidence. Because now
mm,
the teams have this idea, and even Switzerland will have this idea that we are breachable, we are penetrable. If they keep making attacks, we can be exposed. So I think that
mm,
is something we have to work on if we are going the route one way, the actual Italian way. To
mm,
see off this game, we have to be very strong
mm,
defensively. We have to work as a unit, like move from right to left as a unit,
mm,
whatever
mm,
demands. Also, I think in the last game, we kind of showed character in the
mm,
last minute when Calafiori went out of his way, and made that run. And then Zaccagni also did something that was not really thought of right before. So I think
mm,
Italy still have this, but it's just in the glimpses. It's just in the moments that we have that character, that we know how to fight till the
mm,
end and all those things. I think we just have to do it more often. Like last
mm.
game, we also wasted a lot of chances, like Bastoni
Yeah.
header and a lot of Retegui also missed that clear-cut chance. Pellegrini also took a good shot when Calafiori passed him. So these are
Mm.
some of the factors that changed the game, in my opinion. So I think we should be more. We have to go with everything with more conviction. Like every single tackle we are going in, every single shot we are taking, we have to put our heart. We have to put everything into it. So I think that if we do, I think this Italy is still not playing to its full potential
हाँ यार
because
हाँ I
these
agree.
lads are actually very good lads. They're not the worst,
Yeah,
but they are still, they have a lot to show because I've
yeah.
expected a lot from players like Pellegrini, maybe, you know,
Mm.
Darmian, all these players, I expect more from them. And even Chiesa, like Chiesa has to, like wreak havoc now in the wing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think वो तो agree करते थोड़े comments लेते हो एक तो 12 people still with us. Yeah, thank you for joining in. And अगर आपने अब तक subscribe नहीं किया please कर लो. We are close to 550 subscribers. पहुंचाने में help कर दो. Our goal is to reach 600 as soon as possible. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. थोड़े comments ले लेते हैं अजय भाई. We we sorry, Italy needs me, says Sandro Tonali. Stick to gambling. Pellegrini should start, says Tarini. Someone like Fratesi or Cristante should play. He feels you need that different kind of profile in there. Boy from Darwin says, obviously, if they win against the Swiss, lads will be very certain that they're not losing the quarters. Fair enough. Italy walks in the tournament as one of the favorites, along with Germany and Spain should be semi-stock without a doubt. Having this quarterfinal mentality itself is a bad thing for them. Wow. बट अरुण वही चीज है ना कि यार थोड़ा ट्रांजिशन चल रहा है इस टीम का. दैट्स द थिंग. आई थिंक इटली बाय नेम एंड बाय द being defending champions will always have that tag of being a favorite for the tournament, but there's a huge transition going on. Boy from Durban says, how did Calafiori get all eyes on him? Just यार performances देखो आप उसके. वो हो रहा तो एक अलग चीज है, obviously the hairstyle and everything, but the performances have been great too, to all his credit. Southgate says, Dhananjay bhai, you have hurt me. Sangam says Switzerland 5, Italy 0. Wow, wow. I'll save this. I'll save this. If Italy even wins 1-0, yaar, this is worth it. Magic Tiwari says it surely won't be easy. Switzerland literally knocks France out from the Euros. When they are world champions. And this Swiss side is not the same as that. We'll get into it, but still have a certain level of experience, which we will discuss. Midfield battle between Xhaka and Freuler versus Varela and Jorginho will decide this tie. Fair enough. I can spell a nil-nil game and extra time and maybe even penalties. Yeah, मुझे भी ऐसी कोई feeling आ रही है.
Good shot, very good shot.
Yeah, very good shot. मुझे भी ऐसी draw वाली feeling आ रही है थोड़ी अजय भाई. Jorginho and Fratesi should be benched with no second thoughts. Yeah, they have made mistakes as well. And Jorginho तो outright has not performed well. मतलब you had Spalletti shouting at him. So Arun Bhai in which jersey Modric will play in the round of boy from Durban says aura memes for Calafiori. But moving on here, just one final thing. जैसे अगर आपने miss किया है, Calafiori is suspended. If you have not seen it yet, one card away from suspension, as you can see. Cristante, Donnarumma, Fagioli और Pellegrini. तो इटली को बहुत बहुत careful रहना पड़ेगा. The yellow cards will get reset only in the semi-finals, before the semi-finals, right? So Ajay bhai, we'll go to Switzerland. I'll start with he's there. I'll start with you here. Switzerland, Ajay bhai, I'll just pull up their performances so far.
Yeah.
But मतलब obviously we saw कि they initially तो एक तो जिसको डार्क हॉर्स हम लोग मान रहे थे उनको हरा दिया. Then surprisingly these guys were held by Scotland of all teams, a Scotland side that got thrashed by Germany, and then suddenly you have them putting up a defensive masterclass against Germany and holding them. So initial thoughts क्या आपके, अगर आपने उनका एक भी गेम देखा होगा अभी तक, what do you
I
think
did.
of
I
this
did.
Swiss?
Very difficult to kind of figure them out. You have Shaqiri rolling back the years in these tournaments. Bale World Cup or Euros, so he will not do anything. I think he's playing in the MLS, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, he turns up for these games. You have Granit Xhaka, who obviously has had a very good season with Leverkusen, and he's still the engine of that Swiss midfield. But like मेरे हिसाब से वही है कि I think Switzerland will not try to go very kind of on the front foot. They will wait. They will give the ball to Italy. They will see and they will play the conditions out. One guy I'm scared of is Endoy. Obviously, we've all seen him. We follow Serie A. We know how he's a dangerous player for Bologna. Had a very good season as well for them. Even A. Bishop for that matter for Bologna. And Ricardo Rodriguez. So you have a lot of familiar names, right? You have Sommer, Ricardo Rodriguez. You have Bigmer who played for Udinese. Remo Freuler, who obviously is playing for Bologna, Atalanta in the past. So lot of familiar names, and I think which is why I feel that this game reeks of a draw. मतलब अगर आपको you want to bet your house on it, bet on a draw because it's going to
Yeah,
be a very cagey game, and I
correct,
think
correct.
Italy just take kind of memories of the past and figure out a way to win in these cagey games. Switzerland, यार
Mm-hmm.
जैसे तुम लोग बोल रहे हो कि you shouldn't underestimate them. They are going to give a lot of
Yeah.
trouble to Italy.
फेयर इनफ, फेयर इनफ। डीजे भाई मैं आप पे आता हूँ, देन मितुल पे जाता हूँ। देखो यार, जैसे अजय भाई ने बोला, लाइक यू हैव familiar faces of the Serie A in there, मतलब Ricardo Rodriguez, or for anyways for Torino तो अच्छा कर ही रहा है, but then for the national team he's a different beast. You have an informed Granit Xhaka, what he did with Leverkusen, how important he was. You have Manuel Akanji, Jan Sommer, मतलब Dan Endoy भी, obviously Akanji not being from Serie A, but just to name a few veterans out there, and even Xhaka for that matter, मतलब Freuler भी है, Endoy on the counter। धनंजय भाई, like for you, what is the main thing that worries you about this Swiss side based on what you have watched from Italy so far? मतलब what do you think is the biggest threat that Italy will face throughout the 90 or beyond?
Very honestly, guys, I feel this Swiss side is actually deceptively fast. Even though you feel,
Yeah,
I kind of see some heavy legs there. The presence of players like Mbole and Ndoye it kind of gives them that little bit of lateral movement in the final third, which I feel Italy
yeah,
is. They're not. Yeah, they always struggle against pace, and I feel that's where I don't want to say heads will drop, but I feel that's where the real struggle will be when these guys run at the defense with the ball. Um,
yeah,
I think that's where everyone will struggle, including Bastoni. And but I kind of there's
yeah,
one thing. While I get where Ajay is coming from, I personally think this game is not going to be cagey. I think both teams are kind of coming out of their shells. Even Switzerland with the game that they had against Scotland and then showed up so differently against Germany. They've kind of found that little
yeah,
bit of bounce, and I think the same thing with Italy coming in with that momentum. They've also found that little bit of bounce. So I think it's
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
a very like even keel game. This game to me looks like it has goals in it. It may go to extra time and penalties, but I do feel there will be goals in
yeah,
normal time. As far as the players to look out for, yeah, it's amazing. Shaqiri, even though he's completely
yeah,
disappeared on the radar on the club scene, he is what he is when he plays for Switzerland. Yeah, he's always showing up. As a
yeah,
mainstay in that lineup. Akanji, obviously, he's got that level of experience. But I do think like the players to fear are the ones that are up front. When they run with the ball, I think that's where Italy will kind of struggle to kind of contain them. That's where my
fair
concerns
enough,
and worries lie.
fair enough. Before I give my views, I'll come to you यार मितुल। मतलब देख यार, इंडिविजुअल्स तो एक है इस टीम में, डीजे भाई ने बराबर पॉइंट आउट किया, but yeah, even when the funny thing now with Switzerland, Mitul, is कि concede almost हर game में होता है, but funnily enough ना,
Yeah,
throughout most parts of the game they are still solid. So like, do you
yeah.
think Italy will have problem breaking them down because like of how they can set up, in the sense कि जब full focus के साथ compact रहना रहता है ना, like against Germany, they are very pretty good at it. And then you have these weird brain fade moments with these guys. So मतलब what do you really think Italy can get at here? मतलब तेरे हिसाब से क्या टारगेट करना चाहिए मेन इटली को, कि थोड़ा स्विट्जरलैंड साइड को थोड़ा पैनिक में डाल दे, थोड़ा केओस में डाल दे? व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
Yeah, I think like Switzerland has almost the same type of path as Italy. Like they have not
हाँ,
shown a clear-cut identity like Italy so
या,
far. If you see their three games, they have a great win, then they have two draws, one against Scotland, which could be
हाँ,
very questionable, right? So I think they also have been like struggling in a lot of spaces. We can see that although they have put a very great masterclass, you can say, against Germany, they almost defeated them until that full crook goal. So I still feel like this team Switzerland can be frustrated. We have seen that against Scotland. I think Scotland game is something that
हाँ,
Italy should also watch, that how Scotland did frustrate them, did make them lose their temper, and then they started making fouls and all. So I think that is something that Italy can also follow. Apart from that, like you said, right, it's very funny कि हम हर game में, we have been exposed so much, and the game
Yeah.
still, we have conceded just one goal, right? Thanks to Donnarumma, like who has been saving so many shots. But I think, this is not the right approach against Switzerland, right? Because these teams know if they even score one, they know how to shut shop. And for that, I think कि हम लोगों को starting से we have to make an approach to at least score a goal in first half. We have good attackers. Let's just use them properly, right? I'm not saying कि Skamaka has done any justice to himself, but I can say in his defense he has not been fully used, right?
Yeah.
And I think same with Chiesa. He has also not done justice to his, display of performances yet. But again, he's not been fully used. So I think these are some players who can actually, start give a great impact to the team. And I do agree with Dhananjay that it would be a scoring game. It might not just be a nil-nil draw. I think it's going to be the same like Italy Austria in round of 16 in Euros, right? When we were losing, and from there we came back. So I think that is something that might just happen here again.
Fair enough. Before I get into the comments, I saw a few interesting comments, but
We
Dilip
have all
says there is
scenarios. We have all scenarios covered. Comeback, KG game, and entertaining high scoring draw. So we'll see. We have more
I
than
think
4 series.
that's what. एक तो मैं उस पे आता हूँ यार, but I just want to point a few things out. उसके पहले मतलब दीपू ने brought this in the comments यार, Granit Xhaka मतलब this guy used to get clowned on एक point पे Arsenal में left right center अजय भाई आप जानते होगे. And again he put up a man of the match performance against Germany, and you can see the history of him putting man of the match performances in clutch games. Then you again Switzerland reaching another knockout phase, 6 major international tournaments, 6 qualifications. एक चीज बस है स्विट्जरलैंड की कि they have never made it past the quarter finals. वो तो obviously quarter finals तो last Euros में ही गए थे, obviously France को हरा के. And actually funnily enough for them it's the anniversary today of that victory France के
Wow.
against. So, yeah, so, I mean I guess they'll want to try to up it. But एक चीज before I give my views, there is certain news from their end also कि Sylvain Widmer उनका जो main right wing back है, he suspended just like Calafiori suspended for Italy. The natural backup is Sturjo, who's very young, and he has more technical ability, I would say. And जैसे धनंजय भाई ने बोला था, he's faster on the transition as well. So they have tricky options on the bench. I will pull up the squad again. There is talk of even someone experienced like Zuber or Endoy being shifted in their position, and so a very tricky set. Ajay bhai, you asked me my opinion. I would say, yeah, I think I'm maybe after what DJ bhai said, thoda reconsider kar raha hu, because I feel ki maybe the Swiss see here an opportunity ki Italy का defense थोड़ा rattle किया जा सकता है जैसे स्पेन ने किया था, right? मतलब you have players in this squad that can make a lot of third man runs, lot of runs behind defenders. Endoy तो एक है, Embolo might be very injury prone, but when he's fit, he's a very good player. He can finish. It's just abish यार अजय भाई, आपने उसकी परफॉर्मेंस देखी, right? Hungary के against the guy turned up against out of nowhere. So I feel they will take the initiative and they'll try to open up. They'll try to force errors via a press. But also मुझे लग रहा है स्विट्जरलैंड के वो moments भी होंगे where they'll make Italy की थोड़ा rethink their approach, wherein Xhaka, all these physical players, maybe Zakaria will even come in and they'll be like, yeah, try to take the ball from us or try to break us down, stuff like that. And I think DiMarco not being there, even if he's not had a good Euros, I think उसकी जो crossing ability होती है ना अजय, I think that will be a miss tomorrow. I have a feeling over there. And generally a very difficult side to play. जैसे हम बार बार बोल रहे, they can Germany के against I watched the game अजय भाई, and they sat in a 5-4-1 and it was just so difficult for that Germany midfield to operate. जो Andrik और ये सब जो Cruz perform कर रहे थे, they constantly press these players and they weren't functioning. So they'll think if we could neutralize Cruz, what's stopping us from neutralizing anyone in Italy for that matter? If you get what I mean. So टफ गेम लग रहा है अजय भाई. आपके वीडियो पे चैनल पे मैं ऑनेस्टली मुझे लग रहा था स्विट्जरलैंड विल डेफिनेटली probably win this one, but I hope Italy takes this. We'll get to the predictions. But those were my.
I think Param, just to rewind a bit, if Spalletti sticks to that formation that Sky is predicting, I think on the ball Italy will morph into a back three with Darmian, Bastoni and Mancini as a back three, and El Shaarawy and Di Lorenzo as the wing backs with the ball. I think when they transition up front, or it's going to be very dynamic. So it's going to be a good tactical battle between both Murat Yakin and Spalletti. I hope Spalletti comes up trumps.
Yeah, and DJ, by very briefly, what are your thoughts on these words from Yakin? We don't want to worry too much about Italy. The opposite is the truth is the opposite. They need to worry about us. Anything to say on this?
It's all mind games, yeah. Param. These teams
Yeah,
know each other quite well. They've played each other very frequently in the last couple of years. I think there's an awareness. There is
yeah,
definitely, even Yakin has that mutual respect with
yeah,
Spalletti and the other way around as well. So this is just banter.
yeah,
It's pre-game banter. I think it's a very respectful rivalry, but I think it will be
yeah,
an unpredictable clash. It's very hard to call this one.
yeah,
It all really depends. Both teams have kind of shown a very Jekyll and Hyde kind of face,
yeah,
in the
yeah,
tournament. So it really depends which kind of team shows up. If it's the Switzerland that played against Germany, they're going to be very hard to beat. Italy's going to need to get lucky with maybe like a lucky penalty here and there.
yeah.
Yeah, and if we saw the glimpses that we saw of Italy against Albania, then I think it could be like a true love kind of game for them.
Fair enough. And somebody had pointed this in the comments earlier. Yeah, rightly so. Their defense is very solid. और जैसे भी वो लोग एक गोल या इधर उधर खा लेते हैं, but generally someone like a Fabian Schär, Akanji बहुत solid है, and I think someone mentioned from our panel कि Skamaka has to wake up, but he has his work cut out for, because you have three very good experienced defenders out there. So again his work is cut out for. और जैसे हमने बोला कि यार they can literally transition into any shape without any hassle. ठीक है, this is not their best version, but जैसे डीजे भाई ने बोला, they are an experienced side, and वो knockout tournaments में बाहर आ जाता है. I read कि Swiss fan base pretty much wanted Murat Yakin out before the Euros, but now they're loving what he's showing. All of this makes a difference. All this kind of experience makes a difference. And just quickly to highlight some, players on their bench. Eric, so Ruben Vargas is always a threat. Zeki Amdouni is there. Dua, out of nowhere, he stepped up in the first game. You have other players as well. You have Shaqiri, jaise Ajay bhai ne bola. Arun said, their strength is scoring from outside the box. Shaqiri is known for it. Okafor is there of AC Milan. He has good numbers as an impact sub for Switzerland and for AC Milan. So you have to definitely keep an eye. Yaar. Very tough side to play. I'll just move on to comments and then we'll take predictions, Ajay bhai, and then we'll move on. Where did I stop? Yeah, sorry, this is where I stopped. Sandro Tonali says, do you want to say Fagioli is my brother? Arey, yaar, ye banter I think kabhi khatam nahi hoga. Bapu Nayak says Italy is the luckiest team in round of 16. एक चीज में, again I'll just say this normally यार, I would say being a France fan, I would say we are the luckiest. So एक गोल खुद से मारा नहीं हम लोग ने यार, वो भी at least
France and England, I would say. France and England, they had same statistics.
It doesn't matter, guys, because I think you make your own luck in these situations.
Yeah, exactly. That is what exactly
I think,
I was about to say. Yeah, we
so
made our own
I
luck
think,
in that last minute goal. Yeah,
absolutely. You could say Italy's lucky. At a pinch if they came in fourth in the best of the top three finishes. But I think here's a team that made their own luck. They didn't depend on anyone, so would be hard to agree with that statement.
Yeah, I agree with DJ भाई. और देखो यार, नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स में सबको लग लगता है. अब जॉर्जिया को देखो, you think Georgia didn't need luck to reach the round of 16? I mean,
Yeah.
France, again, I'm telling you, as a France fan, we have not scored a goal from open play, or we are still there, funnily enough. So yeah, it really depends. Everybody needs a slice of luck. It's all good. Ajay bhai, India South Africa final ki Italy Switzerland. I just remembered it's clashing.
Both.
For Chintan, we know. I know.
Yeah.
South
Chintan, we
Africa
know.
fan.
Oh my god, yeah, because
Melody fans will be happy. Melody fans will be happy. Italy and India game,
Melody.
right?
Yeah. Major threat from the Swiss is long range. हाँ, Arun, you're absolutely right. It's not only Shaqiri. They have other players. मतलब if Embolo is on form on his day ना, वो भी कर लेता है.
Shaka, you don't forget
Xhaka.
his thunderbolt.
Yeah,
Crazy, man.
absolutely. Vargas versus Di Lorenzo says Deepu. हाँ, you're right. मतलब ये tension.
Even Endoe will be,
Endoe versus
switching
Di
to.
Aye,
It's going to be
Endoe-
Nico Williams versus flashbacks of Nico Williams. It's going to be
Di Lorenzo getting cooked like fried rice, man. This guy is unlucky. वो सोच रहा होगा यार मैं अपनी value बढ़ाना चाहता हूँ UA जाने के लिए, but he's coming up against attackers that are just not helping his cause. too many precise long range attempters. हाँ, that's good. वो है तो Xhaka, Shaqiri, Remo Freuler, Reader, and yeah, Remo Freuler, good shout out. A very, we know him as a Serie A player, and Bologna के साथ again he's back and fantastic. You know, he's going to definitely foul a lot of these Italian players for
Yeah.
sure. लिख के ले ले तू.
He's going to break up play a lot.
हाँ, Embolo is the man who somehow manages to score. हाँ, पूरे साल में उसने क्या 4 गेम खेले थे सिर्फ, and then he was scoring against Hungary. If Italy takes out Remo and Xhaka with man marking, the distribution of ball will be contained substantially, not just a little bit, substantially. Containing both Xhaka and Remo should be a key plan. Fair enough. Ajay bhai, do you agree with this? Ki the midfield battle is basically pretty much the one to look out for here.
Pretty much, man. I mean, that was also the battle against Spain, right? Because even the style of Swiss gameplay over the course of time has been very, very heavily reliant on the mids and the pacey attack. You know, the likes of Embolo, or in this case, you have Endoy as well. So this is going to be a very tough battle because you have Granit Xhaka, who will essentially, look to play the role of the enforcer. Remo Freuler will look to play the role of disruptor, trying to foul, break up play. So I think Italy have to be extremely strong against these guys in the center of the park.
I agree with you. Scoring in extra time. Who do you mean, yaar? Do you mean this match will be won in extra time?
This is kind of my prediction as well. I'll come to that when you take predictions.
1-0 Italy in 120 minutes. Fair enough. ऐसा ही कुछ लग रहा है मैजिक तिवारी. रविंद्र Juventino है. Nice to have you again. I hope for a clear plan from Spalletti for the Switzerland match. No panic changes and choices. Hate to admit, but I think Spalletti has also the same weakness as Pep. हाँ, थोड़ा लग तो रहा है, but also I feel I can tell you from his time at Inter also. Obviously, he's grown a lot since then, but I will say कि उसके बहुत इन गेम मैनेजमेंट गलत हो जाती है इधर उधर, एंड आई थिंक वो ज्यादा दिखा क्रोएशिया के अगेंस्ट मुझे बहुत. स्पेन गेम तो ठीक है, स्पेन इज स्पेन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, बट आई फील he's getting it something wrong in the in-game management. Especially, I remember उसने half time में वो फ्रतेजी को लाया for no reason. You could have probably brought in फ्रतेजी later. He moved Darmian to the left. मतलब you had no reason to do that. So yeah, he has some questionable in-game management. You all predicted like you all see both teams. Yeah, मतलब that's the whole point. That it's such a close game. Sorry, Ajay, I say.
No, we'll come to predictions later.
Yeah. I see. Sorry, I see. Bros
The
getting
Swiss
back to
bros.
okay, the Swiss, the
bros.
CH thing. Yeah,
The national flag.
Yeah. See, the Swiss bros getting back to Dairy Farm after completion of tomorrow's game. भाई यार, चलो. Hopefully, it's not the other way around. Hopefully, you're right.
People are
some
jinxing
luck-
too hard, man. In
Yeah,
comments,
ये
they're
ये
jinxing
नहीं
too
चाहिए
hard.
भाई, ये नहीं
Yeah,
चाहिए.
really jinxing hard.
Yeah, same luck is also known as clutch when somebody else. Exactly. Very good point. जब कोई और टीम करती है, it's all clutch moments. It's all on PR यार. मतलब एक player अगर वही, we'll not get into it. We know who we are talking about. ये वो. Since someone said Italy is lucky, by that logic, Real Madrid has so many late goals for them recently. Yeah, every team. That's what we said, right? Every team has a slice of luck, and you make your own luck, as DJ Bhai said. At the end of the day, everybody needs it. You can't. Nobody's perfect out there. Like Dhananjay said, you make. Wait. Ravindra Prasad, exactly. Key for us. अच्छा, ये तो क्रिकेट पे आ गया भाई आपके लिए.
You don't doubt Virat, okay? Virat को तुम doubt करोगे, he's due a big innings. It could very well be.
Boy from Durban, I think it's Chintan.
Yeah. So Deepu, nice to see you're still in the chat here. Deepu, always appreciate your questions. Which manager has impressed you the most tactically? For me, Rangnick. I think you mean the Euros only, and maybe agree karunga Rangnick. Anybody, like all of quickly everyone else, if you have to say, Mithul, who do you think?
Gareth Southgate.
Still surprising in 2024. Yeah, by hitting new lows. Right. I would say Ragnick myself, alongside even Nagelsmann. He's done a great job. He's employing club tactics for international football. Good to see Germany play like that after a very long time. It's been 10 years since they have been playing like that.
Even the Spanish head coach, De La Fuente.
De La Fuente.
De La Fuente. He's been
DJ by anyone else? DJ by anyone you would like to give?
I have to say Kaladze, guys. I mean, like who would have thought? Like Georgia have really impressed me. The consistency with which they're playing is very, very impressive. Of course, Rangnick Austria's done a fab job, and I think they're looking even stronger than last time, to be honest. Last time also they were very impressive. Uh, Obviously, with change of guard, but uh, I think for me it's Kaladze and Rangnick, the two guys who really stand out.
Even one more shout out to Montea. He has been great with
Ah,
Turkey.
ah,
I was not actually, expecting him to do great job with Turkey. He made them qualify first for the Euros. Then in group stage, when he had like teams who are fighting above their weights, like Georgia did well as well, and even Czech and even Portugal, of course. And in that group, qualifying. So I think he's also
I'm actually
done a
also
good job.
impressed by our old friend of Napoli,
hmm. Calzona.
Calzona,
Calzona,
Francesco
Calzona,
yeah.
Calzona.
yeah. Yeah, so
Abhi,
So out of five, four Italians made through for the round of 16. Only
yeah, yeah.
one Rossi
Marco
was
Rossi,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Marco Rossi
Yeah.
was
Funnily
out.
enough, yeah, and I think मैं रॉसी से थोड़ा disappointed हूँ personally दीपू because I think एक तो उसकी गलती नहीं है, he was wrecked with injuries unfortunately. This Hungary team was way better than what they actually showed.
Yeah,
And I think Deepu, to your question, I'll just tweak my answer actually because Rangnick से he expected था. I'll be very fair over here. I think maybe we didn't expect him to top the group, but at least to do
Yeah.
a good job. I will actually put a shout out for Calzona for Slovakia and Matias Kek of Slovenia. I think they have impressed me very. So Montella, I'll just disagree slightly with Mithul. I'm not impressed because of what is going on at the Euros. I think usne to get them to the Euros, he's done well. I agree, but what is going on at the Euros is extremely bad. I feel. Matlab, he's
Yeah.
conceding goals for 10-man Czech Republic and also not really. I'm still on the fence with Montella. Is my point basically. At least me. Go back. Uh, Arun says Arun की banter कभी रुकने नहीं वाली. I would start spaghetti to beat. Oh my god. uh, Prajwal says he's giving a shout out to DJ Bhai. Same old Chintan says the boy from Durban. Who is more worse? South? Oh, good question. Good
Yeah, we can
question.
actually do this also. Who has disappointed you the most in Euros? Which coach
Ah,
has
yeah.
disappointed you the most?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Belgium.
Wow.
I think
Belgium.
इसका answer, like for I thought Ajay का answer same ही होगा for surprised and disappointed both Southgate, right?
Southgate
Just for
surprise
the
was
fun
just
of it.
trolling, but
Yeah,
you know what to expect from him. But Belgium with that group, I think they deserve to go out. To be very honest, all of them
Tedesco.
finishing on 4 points.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And DJ Bhai, are you disappointed? Like, who are you disappointed with? To be fair.
I have to say Coman, yeah. I think this Dutch team could have shown a little bit more than we've kind of seen of them in the tournament. To me, they are still outsiders, dark horses. If I was to kind of name one dark horse in the tournament, I think it would be the Dutch, and
Yeah.
Coman is really, this team has more dimensions than we've seen, and I think that's down to Coman's inability to kind of bring it out of his players. So
Fair enough.
Coman for me.
Fair
I
enough.
would
Fair enough.
I would go with Deschamps because the level of squad depth they have, the quality they have, they've not given a yet, that good display so
गोल ही नहीं
far.
मारा यार कुछ से.
गोल ही नहीं मारा है. Yeah, let's just put it, straightforward. गोल ही नहीं मारा है. So I am a little disappointed because France have been a very great team in all the last like 6, 7 competitions we have seen, right? Including Euros, Nation Leagues, and World Cups. So the way they have played, and if you see this Euros, because this might be one of the best squads, most like quality wise, if you say one of the most gifted squads, and the way they have been playing, I'm very disappointed in them. So Deschamps has to do more now.
Fair enough. I think disappointment तो इंग्लैंड तो बोलना बहुत आसान हो जाता है यार because it's the
Yeah.
quality is there and everything, but I will say I think I agree with Ajay bhai. Like Belgium का I told him the other day, I told Ajay bhai कि इनका transition कब खत्म होगा. I'm just waiting. Like when does this transition really end? Funnily enough, we have Gareth Southgate in the chat. Of course, I'm better than Koeman. He literally but shout out to Deschamps, says Arun Krishnan. We have Rangnick and De La Fuente from Ravindra Prasad. Good shout out. I would like to I would like to keep very big margin of reservation to fair enough.
I agree.
Good
Yeah,
point. Good. Streams of Dreams says welcome back to DJ Bhai. I think we have not lost the yeah, Ajay Bhai cricket fans ke liye, yeah, I think we have not lost the finals in T20, but not in other formats. After last year, nothing is given. So again, for the cricket fans, I'm not that big a cricket fan, unfortunately. Dalic, he says disappointment of the tournament. Arun Krishnan, Croatia fan है, I get it. But I think उसकी cycle खत्म होने आ गई है. Pep, Saf, Cruyff, Ancelotti, Mourinho are top 6 managers. And me, sorry, oh my god, Croatian manager
Igor
has
Stimac also. How can you forget
uh,
Igor Stimac?
Steam. Yeah, Dalic has been disappointing. De La Fuente has been the best so far. Fair enough. So I think ये comments हो गए यार. I think 12 people still with us. Predictions ले लेंगे. अगर आपने
Let's
अब
take
तक
predictions.
सब्सक्राइब क्या आप predictions अगर
Let's
आपने
take
अब
predictions.
तक सब्सक्राइब या आपने अब तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया प्लीज कर लो. We are at 542 550 पहुंचा दो. Spread the word if you are already subscribed. Help us grow the channel. और मैं बार-बार बोल रहा हूँ, I'll say this in the closing also when we close, कि we are planning for something big. Obviously we'll tell you in due course, and once that is up, hopefully you guys will show us the same support as you always do. Let's get to the predictions here. I'll start with Mitul. Obviously Switzerland Italy क्या होता है इधर. All
I'm
your
very
the floor
scared.
is- बोल
Very
बोल
scared
जो
and very worried. I think we rely on Donnarumma once again to get a great display. He has been the keeper of the tournament for me for sure. None other keeper has made more saves than him. So I feel like it's going to be a 2-1, very dramatic, like Italian way, right? 1-0 losing and then scoring 2-1 in the 90 minutes, and then in the 120 we score the extra goal. I just don't want it to go to like penalties. That just ended in 120 minutes. So 2-1 in the favor of Italy. No way we are keeping clean sheet.
हाँ, वो तो रहने से रहा. I'll go to DJ भाई. Floor is yours.
Uh, I think Chiesa shows up to the party tomorrow, and I think he's going to kind of bring that Juve swagger. The Fino alla Fine is going to come to the fore. Um, I would have to go with, well, I do know that Italy will be troubled tomorrow with these guys running at the defense. But I think the team is resilient enough. They're riding on that adrenaline of how they qualified from the group stages, and I think that's just that little extra that they'll bring to the party tomorrow. Chiesa for me is going to be very integral. That Fagioli Chiesa connection would be interesting if Fagioli starts, and I think Italy to nick this 2-1. I agree with Mithul. That would be my scoreline as well. If it goes to penalties, also, I think Donnarumma supremacy. So uh, penalties also in favor of Italy. But I do see this end over 120 minutes, 2-1 to Italy.
Fair enough. Ajay bhai, what about you?
I'm going to stick to my KG prediction. 0-0, 90 minutes, 1-0 extra time winner. So
10-0 extra. Fair enough.
I think it's going to be a penalty that will win the game for Italy. Whoever is playing in in extra time.
Provided Jorginho doesn't take it, I guess.
अब पता नहीं ना वही है कि I know how Spalletti is going to line up, changes he's
Yeah.
going to make. It's anyone's guess who's going to be
Yeah.
a penalty taker. But I feel it's going to 1-0 to Italy.
Imagine,
After
imagine
extra
Di
time.
Lorenzo scores the only goal in the game.
Yeah, बहुत मजा आएगा.
Changes
He'll do
things
this.
are-
His agent is going to be so happy भाई. उसका agent
Yeah.
क्या बात करने वाला है. But I
सीधा 20 मिलियन बढ़ गए. सीधा 20 मिलियन बढ़
yeah,
गए.
yeah. But I think बहुत nerve wracking game होने वाला है. I think all Italy and Swiss fans will be on their edge. I think whatever it is, even if it's a cautious game from both teams or whether they go at it neck and neck, I feel we are going to get a very close and close game. And I think Italy nicks it in extra time. कैसे तो करके जैसे क्रोएशिया के अगेंस्ट किया. I think Italy की वो जो narrative हम लोग चला रहे हैं, fighting spirit, group spirit, everything, I think that will come into play for at least one more round. बाद में क्वार्टर्स में देख लेंगे अगर पहुंचे तो. But I think yeah, in my prediction at least Italy takes it 1-0, maybe something like that. थोड़े comments के ले लेता हूँ and we'll close this. We have Arun obviously who says 2-1 to Switzerland. Fair enough. So 1-1 Switzerland. Vargas and Skamaka, and Deepu follows it up with saying Switzerland to win on penalties. ठीक है, fair enough. Eddie Howe, oh my god, तू भाई अपनी prediction दे. ये सब का time गया है.
दिया नीचे दिया है.
वही, if we let in oh okay, this is cricket related again for Ajay bhai. Cricket fans completely use that.
Keto Maharaj.
Yeah, nil written all over it. Fair enough. sorry, 1 minute to go. I mean, if he scores, who cares? I mean, जो भी मारे यार, it doesn't really matter. Ravindra says Ajay will give prediction for the T20 final as well. ये भी कर दो अजय भाई.
South Africa to bat, India to bat first, and score about 160 odd, and India is going to defend that. Arshdeep Singh to take the final wicket. India wins.
India
Wow.
wins. Okay. Going to extra time, Sandro Tonali says 2-1 Italy. I think I see Italy in the final, says Prajwal. Wow. Hopefully आप बराबर हो, मतलब we would love to see that. Ravindra Prasad says I think it will be comfortable 2-0 win for Italy. Chiesa and Pellegrini goal. Wow. Gareth Southgate, I would like to face Italy, but for that I don't think we are slow. हाँ, Calzona ball से डर के रहना भाई, तो बच के रहे Calzona ball.
यार मेरे को लग रहा है कि स्लोवाकिया will
हाँ.
beat England. And तूने याद दिलाया था about that Italy Slovakia game in 2010. I think it's
हाँ.
about time that if Italy go through to bury the demons of that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
मैं
definitely.
बोल रहा हूँ यार, अगर इंग्लैंड ऐसे ही खेलते रहे तो यू नेवर नो. जैसे डीजे भाई ने बोला, ऑल दीज टीम्स स्लोवेनिया स्लोवाकिया दैट हैव कम अप, दे आर नॉट बैड, दे आर नॉट बैड एट ऑल. 1-1 सेज निशान, पर 1-1 में जीतेगा कौन, वो तो बोल भाई. 1-1 के बाद मतलब एक्स्ट्रा टाइम पेनल्टीज क्या. बट एक चीज आई वांटेड टू पुल अप यार, आई फॉरगॉट कंप्लीटली. आई जस्ट पुल इट अप, हेड टू हेड रिकॉर्ड, बिकॉज़ क्रोएशिया के अगेंस्ट भी लिया था. लेट मी जस्ट पुल इट अप बिकॉज़ दिस इज क्वाइट इंटरेस्टिंग अजय भाई, क्योंकि क्रोएशिया के अगेंस्ट इटली हैड barely played in general and the record was obviously Italy had won nothing pretty much, right? This
No,
is very
the funniest part is the last 4 games ended in one alls, which
हाँ.
also
Yeah,
happened in
fun.
this game as well. So
Yeah, so this is the funny thing about the Swiss, the head-to-head record with Swiss, the Swiss 60 matches, एक तो complete opposite end, बहुत ज्यादा
Wow.
खेले. 29 wins for it, 29 wins for Italy, 24 draws and only 7 wins for Switzerland. And the last two meetings तो obviously हम सब जानते हैं वर्ल्ड कप क्वालिफायर में थे जो ड्रॉ हुए, and Italy did make it. And yeah, Switzerland haven't beaten Italy since 1993, 11 games in a row. So hopefully all that, all these stats come into Italy's favor. Abdullah Rana says 0-0. हाँ, but what after that? Funnily enough, that's what. But any
People are
closing
still
thoughts?
not over group stages. People are still
Yeah.
not over it.
People are not over group stages. Gareth Southgate says 3-1 penalties for Italy. फिर से चलेगा यार. I think तेरे को पेनल्टी का सदमा लग गया हो फाइनल के बाद, इसलिए पेनल्टी ओरिएंटेड. क्विक क्वेश्चन फॉर परमिशंस इंटरली साइनिंग है भाई, ये कहाँ से तूने लिंक लाया जोनाथन डेविड का? नहीं रे, no, we are not linked with him at all. If you saw the links, they're all bogus links. I think all our striking signings are done. We have Lautaro, Thuram, Taremi. I think Arnautovic will end up staying, which I don't want to. Yesterday there was a
Zelensky also there.
there was a Saudi Arabian agent who visited the Inter HQ to inquire about Arnautovic, so I hope he's shipped off. पर मुझे लग नहीं रहा है उसके लिए कोई आएगा. So that's the situation. ये अगेन अजय भाई आपके लिए, यही आप आंसर कर सकते हो.
no, India is winning, bro. India is winning, no chance.
Fair enough. All the critics are mad true for England, but I won't sleep on their good. हाँ, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, these guys can build into the tournament. ये अभी जब narrative गंदा हो रहा है, it's all easy, but keep an eye out for them. Predictions for Denmark, Germany. I mean, चलो ले लेते, since you've asked. Anyone wants to predict the Ajay bhai says Germany. I also say Germany.
Germany, Germany, straight up.
Yeah. Magic Tawari says Lautaro is too good for Argentina. Yes, right now he scored a couple of goals. How did you guys? यार ये briefly बताना पड़ेगा, इधर नहीं तो पूरी story चली जाएगी.
I think this deserves a whole separate video. All of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
Our journeys, yeah.
हाँ, इसके लिए सेपरेट वीडियो बनेंगे निशांत. होप यू डोंट टेक इट द रॉन्ग वे, बट हाँ हम लोग बनाते बिकॉज वी आर शॉर्ट ऑन टाइम. वी स्टिल हैव टू क्लोज दिस एंड प्लान फॉर द वीडियो वी हैव बीन टेलिंग यू गाइस. तो थोड़ा आई थिंक दिस क्वेश्चन में ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा डिस्कस करने को, तो वील टेक इट फॉर श्योर. आई हैव केप्ट इट इन माइंड, तो डेफिनेटली ले लेंगे. आप सब्सक्राइब करो, आप स्टिक अराउंड, एंड डेफिनेटली वील मेक अ सेपरेट वीडियो ऑन दिस. बाय वाचिंग सेरिया एंड व्हेन आई सॉ R9 प्लेइंग फॉर इंटर. फेयर इनफ, गुड शाउट. But any closing thoughts, DJ bhai, Mitul, Ajay bhai, anything to say before we close this?
Hopefully no more heartaches, Forza Azzurri.
Yeah.
Forza Azzurri is, yeah. So
I think we just need that never say die Juve attitude is going to come through tomorrow. I just have that feeling. Fino alla fine. It's just, this team has that, when you lack talent, it kind of brings them together. and Italians, like we are all, we kind of know that they are best when they have their backs against the wall. Till that time, nothing changes. It's very lazy. It's very lack of effort. They're not as inspired. But the minute there's criticism around them, their backs are against the wall, the chips are down. That's when Italy really comes to the fore. You know. And I think, again, that momentum of the way they got out of the group stages, I think will give them that one little push tomorrow night.
Last two comments ले लेता हूँ यार.
Perfectly summarized.
Rajat is here. Inter fan है. Want England to see, England to win so we can beat them again. Want to see those English tears. And by the way, when when Alvarez was clutch for Argentina, everyone was gassing him and not a single word on Lautaro. वही चलता है. Lautaro का तो image खराब हो गया. वो 1-2 penalty, but obviously we know Lautaro is
पहले
obviously
हम तो जीते कल यार. कल पहले
हाँ.
इटली तो जीते, then we'll think about
वही
England.
वो वही
Yeah.
बोल रहा है कि Italy he expects to win against Switzerland and then face them. I guess he really wants to beat England badly. Revenge जो भी बोल सकते हो आप. But nice to have you. Nice to see an Inter fan always. Rajat, Mancini और Buongiorno यार चाहिए Buongiorno मुझे, but लग रहा है
Mancini.
सबको वही होने वाला है. Sky Italia से भी वही आ रहा है as of now. Last comment, Nishan, one of my uncle believes that Baggio was better than Maradona. ये सब तो subjective है, but obviously मतलब it's not wrong to believe all this. Obviously me being young, I watched all those clips and read about him later, but the better perspective, from a life perspective, you can only get this answer from Ajay or DJ Bhai. If anybody wants to answer this.
Yeah, happy to take it. Yeah, Baggio is just he's a different quality and class of player. It's very unfortunate that very early on he struggled with injuries in both his knees. That changed a lot for him. It would have given him far more longevity playing with bigger clubs for a longer part of his career. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But for the little time that he had his time, even with the injuries bogging him down, he has single-handedly carried the Italian team to a World Cup final. He's kind of carried them to the World Cup semis in Italia 90, to the final in USA 94. By the time they reached France 98, I think between injury and age, things had slowed down, but he still made the team. Cesare Maldini managed to pick him. There was a lot of public pressure to pick him. So he's a god of sorts in Italy. And if you've seen his early years, if he just had a little bit more longevity, he would definitely be in the same bracket as Pele and Maradona. Also, temperamentally, one of the strongest players I have seen. Just never gave up, never, and immense ability to rally the troops and kind of carry them single-handedly.
And I think what I have
I
also
think
like.
just a couple of pointers to what DJ added. His best years were obviously with Fiorentina and Juve, and everyone obviously the divine ponytail. He is remembered for that ponytail. If you had to like really pick a characteristic of a player, you associate Baggio with that divine ponytail. And the '94 World Cup, he single-handedly got a very subpar Italy team to the final. And he's remembered, unfortunately, for that penalty miss. It's sad. It's sad.
And let's not forget he was carrying an injury, Ajay.
In that injury. And couple of things. He's also a Buddhist. He meditates quite a lot. Very interesting fact. I saw him last play for Brescia, his hometown club, live, and although he was 40, he still had that class. So I think very smart uncle.
Also, just to add to his Brescia's time, he is the reason why Pirlo is what Pirlo is today. Because Pirlo was coming up from the rank, he used to be a striker back then, if center forward, and it's Baggio who gave him an advice that if you want to make your career, because you are kind of a little slow, you are not meant for this position, you should shift back, play as a regista or maybe in mid, and that will save your career, because he was struggling a lot and he was going through a very depressed time, and he did change his position, and then the rest is history for Pirlo.
Yeah. And I think वो भी एक closing note पे बोलना चाहता हूँ. The thing is, he's one of those few players that is not really disliked by any fan base, because वो Big Three के लिए खेल चुका है, and even if he's had a different level of impact, obviously most successful for UA, but he's still equally admired by the Milanistas, the Interisti, equally. There's no malice for him over there. Matlab, you ask him, anyone, they always speak highly for him because of what he did on the, I think what DJ Bhai just said it, right? Mentally so strong, and how he overcame all those odds. आपने अगर उसको लाइव देखा भी नहीं होगा, even if you just read anything about him or ask anyone who knows anything about him,
First class.
they'll always
Beautiful.
they'll always say good things, and it's not superficial. Basically, it all stands true to this day. तो वही चीज है. Great personality, obviously. So we'll just take these last comments and close this. Yeah, my probably because my uncle speaks highly about Bajio too. Fair enough. England will lose to Italy again. That too in the pen, and Saka will miss it again. Arey baap re, your uncle is correct. Bajio is better. I'm an Arsenal hater, so sorry, Saka fans. I watched the Divine Ponytail. Must watch for all Serie A fans. देखा है. Absolute icon at Turin and Florence. Maradona did a lot of things off the field to influence his on-field contribution. Of course, he's one of the best players in the world, but Baggio did everything he did without taking any substance.
Let's not
भाई,
go there today.
yeah,
It's
let's
a
not
long.
go there. You spark a whole debate. See, it's not like Maradona didn't do great things there, but ठीक है, वो एक अलग debate है, वो अलग दिन
अलग
कभी बात.
tangent है वो.
The man who died standing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, yep.
Pirlo,
The famous
Zidane,
quote.
अरे यार इसके ट्रोलिंग बंद नहीं होएगी यार. Pirlo, Zidane, Iniesta और Gallagher. Who's better? Do you think Kobel will be given a chance? No, Sommer will play. Kobel has been good for Dortmund, but Sommer will play. He's the leader here, pretty
Yeah,
much.
no
He's going to
chance.
start.
Sommer is
Yeah.
like almost captain. Yeah, no chance.
Yeah. So I also one last thing here. It's going to be a battle between a lot of familiar Serie A players. Bologna players are taking the Euros by storm. Serie A in general is taking the Euros by storm, actually.
Yeah.
So good to see. And he deserves. I think he's better than Sommer. Bold shout. Messi, Ronaldo. ये बाद में भाई. Messi, Ronaldo नहीं भाई. Please नहीं, ये उसके लिए नहीं है.
Come on.
But let's close this here, guys. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you DJ bhai, Ajay bhai and Mitul for joining in on the channel as always. You know we are at 542. मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया, 544 सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो कर लो. अगर आप you can spread the word, please do so, and please keep watching this space. You know there is something special coming up. DJ bhai, Ajay bhai are obviously and Mitul is also privy of it. Probably अगले वीक तक हो जाना चाहिए. And we will keep you posted. Also subscribe to Ajay Bhai's channel at AM Talk Sports. Ajay Bhai is also doing different sports content. Obviously World Cup ke, I guess he'll do something related to that before the finals. So unka channel, keep an eye. And that's it from us, guys. Ciao ciao. We'll see you soon. शायद watch along होगा. It's unfortunately clashing with the cricket World Cup final. So देखते हैं. But we'll see you soon, guys. Ciao ciao.
Ciao,
Ciao,
ciao.
guys.
होते